Hello, I'm back, and I'm Phritzy. If you don't know who I am, well, I'm Phritzy. I just said so. I'm a guy who just talks to a camera. Basically, I'm talking to myself. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. Well, actually, today I have an idea what I'm talking about. But journal style, so off the cuff. No draft. Anyway, I want to talk today about my thoughts of becoming a father. Yes. So if you don't know, you might not know, because you might be some random person on the internet. You might not be my mother. Hi, Mom. I'm going to have a kid. I'm going to have a kid in just something short of 2 months, which is crazy. It's exciting. It's thrilling. And I just really want to share my thoughts. I think the idea and concept of being a dad has always kind of been just bubbling up since probably the age of 16 or 17. Not a whole lot of thoughts on it, but just, I might be a good dad, maybe. And as I've gotten older and interacted with more people, and especially when I've worked at jobs where I'm in a more of a leadership position, I find I enjoy mentoring people. And to me, the greatest idea of mentorship is to start somebody from day one, my own kid. Not that I want to turn them into some spinning image of me. No, I don't want that. Not even slightly. And I'll go into that in a bit. But, you know, when you think of mentoring somebody, you're not training them to be XYZ. You're not putting them in a box. When you're mentoring somebody, you're actually helping them realize their own potential. You're asking them, what are your interests? Oh, I like this or that. And you go, well, why don't you use that to propel yourself? And they're like, oh, wow, yeah. And so the idea of doing that with a kid that's my own is kind of thrilling. Absolutely thrilling. So, I guess first I'll just talk about some things that I'm slightly anxious about, and let's get the superficial stuff out of the way. Things like baby crying, changing diapers and such. I think it's probably going to be fine. I don't think there's a major concern. I think the idea of changing some other human's poopy diaper is not particularly pleasant. It's not particularly pleasant to do that to yourself. Well, not that as a middle-aged adult you would have a diaper, but you know what I'm saying. But I think I can handle it. I mean, I changed cat litter all my life, and I remember once I had a dog, and I oftentimes had to clean the dog poo-poo. And I remember one day I went out drinking, and my parents got really upset because, I was underage, and I drank too much, and I didn't show up at home at the right time, blah, blah, blah. So one of their punishments was me to clean up doggy poo-poo. Anyway, I think that's probably the worst punishment, or actually it wasn't the worst punishment. The worst punishment was later than my stepmom took me to Catholic church, which I'm not a Catholic, and it's not fun. That's a big punishment. That's worse than cleaning up dog poo-poo. Anyway, getting off track. Not worried about cleaning up baby's poo-poo. It will stink. I won't enjoy it. I want to try to potty train the kid at week 1. I know you're thinking to yourself, that's impractical. Watch me. Well, actually, don't watch me do that. It's weird, but I'll let you know. If I fail, well, whatever. Anyway, that kind of stuff, not too worried about. In terms of, baby's expensive. Well, I've heard some people say that, like there's this one customer at my work. She found out that she didn't even know I had a wife, and you're pregnant, or your wife's pregnant. Oh, you're going to have a kid. And, she has I work in a downtown coffee shop, and it's under a big corporate building. So she works some decent, well-paying job, and she's like, how could you afford it? Like, because she's probably thinking to herself that she can't afford such a thing. And my thought is, well, I think money doesn't matter. Like, yes, it does to a degree, but my parents didn't have much as a kid, and I never thought to myself, especially the first 12 years of my life, thought about, oh, I didn't have enough money. I never felt like I was missing out. And I'm sure they struggled, to make sure that we were good, but I don't remember things being so bad. And then I look on my wife's side, and I mean, her parents literally came with nothing. They showed up running away from their country on a boat, and she turned out fine, and so did the rest of the family. So in terms of, can I afford this based on my line of work and me trying to be an artist, I don't really think it matters. As long as my wife and I are paying attention to our spending habits, we're not spending our money going out every day. We're spending it on raising a child, especially the first couple of years, really like, I don't know what that means, but just making sure the kid eats and stuff, I think we'll be fine. I think really where we need to focus our attention is actually time spent with child, time spent with the kid. It's a boy, by the way. He's a boy, I think. We're pretty sure. That's what the ultrasound said. Anyway, so those are not concerns. Those are not concerns. What I'm concerned on, I've been reading a lot on how much kids absorb. Like they just kind of feed off all the information that's happening around them, especially the first 4 years of their life, apparently up to 7, 8, something like that. Yeah, that's how a kid can learn any language. It's super easy to teach kids. In fact, I taught some young kids years ago English in Japan, and they were super easy to teach compared to the middle-aged adults. Like night and day. So what am I concerned with? Well, I'm concerned because I have self-defeating personality traits. In many situations, I am quite positive, but in other situations, I can get really down, really negative, and I'm scared, not in the first couple of years of this kid's life, but I'm scared that because I can be this way, it'll translate to the kid. And so when the kid is 10, 15, 20, 25, the kid will have a lot of insecurities. Because I found I have a lot of insecurities, and I'm just concerned. I want to be able to break sort of that cycle of negativity. And negativity, it's strange. You go into a place and you like a new job, and you're like, I want a positive environment. And then the first thing you see is somebody negative, and you're like, oh, I need to stay away from that person because they're miserable and they love to be miserable or something. And then you find yourself kind of falling and listening to them a little bit. And then you agree with a few of their negative points. And then it's like this anchor just rips you right down, and not a good anchor. No, it's like so heavy it pulls the whole ship down. It's ridiculous. And you find yourself getting addicted to it, and you bring it home, and it's like, no, I don't want that. And it's about finding a balance, because I don't want to lie to the kid. I don't want to put on a fake happy face, and I don't want to teach the kid to put on a fake happy face if the kid is sad. You need to let the kid express their emotions as adults should, and a lot of us adults are emotionally inept, me included in many ways. And I need to figure out a way to not translate my insecurities to him or any of my other kids, but allow the kid to still feel sad, angry, any of those negative emotions that he would naturally have, and work through it. I by no means want to coddle the kid. I think I've seen enough of my generation us millennials, we have a lot going for us, and the generation under Gen Zs, I don't know. There are some things that cause us to be socially inept. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of you baby boomers out there who are socially inept too. You just didn't exactly have social media to amplify it for you. But I feel like coddling the kid and protecting the kid from all the scary, dark stuff in the world will cause the kid to basically fall into all that dark, scary stuff. It's like, I need to actually prepare him. So this is kind of goes into what I'm super excited. It kind of goes back to the idea of me wanting to mentor. Is I want to teach my kid, first thing is just, simple ethics, be kind, don't hurt others, don't steal from others, just be generous, be loving, reward that, but then also show them adversity in controlled situations and teach them lessons like, you're not going to get this stuff, and why. And sometimes the why might be because just the unfortunate circumstances of the world. But I think a lot of things can be explained, especially in today's age. When I was a kid, I remember asking my parents a lot of questions, and they would just be the answer. And it wasn't them, it wasn't specifically my parents, it was my parents' generation, because I'd hear all parents say the same thing over and over again, was, well, that's just the way it is. And it's not true. They just didn't have the information. Simple question like, why is there winter? Well, that's just the way it is. That's why, well, actually, no, there's specific reasons. And if you didn't have a winter season, everything would be thrown out of balance. Blah, 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 blah. I would love to explain that stuff. I'd love to explain that stuff early. You might think, oh, well, at a super young age of like 2, they're not going to get it. I'm like, try me. Try my kid. I'm going to try. I'm going to see. If he doesn't get it, that's fine. But I want to teach him and possible other children to be able to overcome adversity, to not struggle the same way I do. My last video, I'm talking about how I didn't even want to do the video because I get in my own way. And I'm being truthful. And, like if my kid struggles, I want them to be truthful on that kind of stuff too. But if I could allow them to overcome that at an early age, right now, I'm now trying to focus on overcoming my insecurities. If I could help my kids overcome their insecurities by the time they're an adult, oh man, they'd be unstoppable. Because really, the bottom line, it's not about their skill set. It's not about their talents. It's not about the cards they were given, whether their parents had a lot of money or not. It's about the insecurities. It's about the voices in their heads. I know for me, because I can sit there and do one type of job, and because like half my life I have no insecurities. So for example, my job, you can throw a whole bunch of new stuff at me and I can fail and fail and fail, and I don't judge myself. I just don't care, and I do really well at it. And there's other things like trying to be more open, more creative, pursue more of an artist career, and I just kind of, I cut myself off at the knees. Is that the phrase? I get in my own way because I have voices in my head. I've been told that those voices are other people's, maybe they're mine, but whatever the case is, I'm letting it impact me. So if I can help my kid go over that, oh boy, I feel like I would have succeeded as a father. In terms of things I don't care about, I do not care about what my kid becomes in terms of job, status, whether he gets married, has kids, whether he has a lot of money or he's dirt poor. I do not care. Do not care whatsoever. I do not care about his school grades. I do not care about any of it. I care more about my kid finding what he's happy about and just doubling down on that. You know, I still have people in my life who tell me, like, what are you doing? You need to get a better job. You work at a coffee shop. Why don't you go back to school? You're going to become a father now. It's time to take care of the family. Da, 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 da. I'm like, well, I'm already taking care of the family. Thank you very much. And my wife's helping me at that. It's a good 50-50. And we've had plenty of conversations, and not one moment, not 1 second has she said, Phil, this is what you need to do, because she cares more about me being emotionally available than somehow financially available. Money comes and goes. Time spent, quality time spent with people, just, you only get one shot at it. So I don't care if my kid struggles. You know, like, I struggled a lot in school. I was not good at English. Maybe you can tell while I'm specking. I'm not very good at the English, but it really hasn't gotten in my way. There's a few things that I kind of had to correct. My grammar to a degree. The fact that there is a keyboard that exists in this world, that helps tremendously. So the idea of having pretty writing does not matter. It truly does not matter. Even if you believe it matters, it does not matter. I remember there's a meme that's been posted a couple times talking about how we need to learn all this math because, you know, you can't just rely on the calculator. Because it's not like you're going to have a calculator in your pocket all the time. That's what this is all the time. I use it at work all the time. It's great. It keeps everything in check. And as technology advances, you know, things like voice, where you're not even going to have to type anything. It's just going to your thoughts out. I'm just not so worried about that kind of stuff. Kind of a tangent, but what I'm saying is I don't care about what the rest of the world thinks my kid should do. I care what my kid wants to do. As long as it's ethical and he's kind, which goes along with ethics. And I guess the other thing is that he's a critical thinker. I don't want to do the thinking for my kid. I'd like to help my kid do the thinking for himself. That's about it. I don't have much else to say on the matter right now until child is born. Because I really don't know what his personality is like. I saw in the ultrasound that he yawned. That was kind of cute, interesting. But I was being kind of facetious yesterday, and I said to my wife and her friend, you know how a lot of babies are kind of ugly, but the parents think their baby is the most beautiful? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, what if our baby is legit ugly? Like, legit ugly. What do we do? And she's like, well, you'll still love him, right? I'm like, oh, of course. But, like, what happens? What do you do? I'll let you think on that. Till next time, peace.